If you're about to drop $1,000 on a new iPhone, stop for a second. Because in just a few days, at Apple's March 4 event, a $599 iPhone might make that decision look completely irrational. I'm talking about the iPhone 17e. And this is not just another recycled budget iPhone. According to multiple supply chain reports, including Bloomberg and confirmations from MacRumors, the iPhone 17e is getting the exact same A19 chip as the standard iPhone 17. Yes, the same A19 silicon people will be paying nearly double. That changes everything. Traditionally, Apple's E or SE style models were basically hand-me-downs. They got older processors, last year's tech, slightly tweaked bodies. Not this time. The A19 chip inside the iPhone 17e is a true flagship processor. You're looking at flagship-level CPU performance advanced GPU power for gaming and video full Apple Intelligence support for AI features and on-device processing. So when people search for iPhone 17e versus iPhone 17, what they're really comparing is the same brain in two different bodies, at two very different price points. If you care about longevity and performance over time, this is massive. The processor is the number one factor that decides how long your phone stays fast, how well it handles new iOS updates, how smooth your apps, games, and camera features feel in 3, 4, 5 years. And now Apple is putting desktop-class silicon into a $599 iPhone 17e. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Because performance alone doesn't sell phones. Perception does, and Apple is quietly fixing that too. For years, you could spot the budget iPhone from across the room. Chunky bezels, old-school notch, missing features. This time, that's changing. According to reports from 9 to 5 Mac, the outdated chunky notch is gone. The iPhone 17e is finally adopting the dynamic island. That means when you put the iPhone 17e next to an iPhone 17 or even a Pro, they'll look surprisingly similar from the front. You still get all the dynamic island magic, live activities for things like food deliveries, timers, and sports scores, real-time navigation tracking while you multitask interactive music controls, calls, and notifications living up in the pill. The visual gap between Apple's budget and premium phones is shrinking fast. And once that budget stigma disappears, so does a lot of the pressure to justify buying the more expensive Pro models. Now, let's talk about something Apple has intentionally held back for years on its cheaper phones. MagSafe. For the first time in this tier, the iPhone 17e is expected to support full 25W MagSafe charging. That instantly unlocks the entire MagSafe ecosystem. Magnetic wallets that snap onto the back snap-on battery packs for travel days. Magnetic car mounts for safer navigation desk stands, chargers, and docks designed for MagSafe in other words, you finally get everyday convenience and accessory compatibility without paying Pro prices. This is a big deal, especially considering that something like this was missing from last year's iPhone 16e. Apple clearly knows people want the full ecosystem, not a watered-down experience. But the feature that insiders are really watching closely isn't just MagSafe or Dynamic Island. It's the modem. Apple is reportedly putting its in-house C1X modem inside the iPhone 17e, and this matters more than most people realize. Right now, your iPhone uses a processor from Apple and a modem from another company. With the iPhone 17e and its A19 chip plus Apple's own C1X modem, Apple would control both the brain and the network connection. That kind of vertical integration lets Apple optimize 5G connectivity more tightly, reduce power drain when you're on mobile data, smooth out signal drops and improve consistency. Early leaks suggest the iPhone 17e could bring improved 5G stability compared to the 16e, noticeably better battery efficiency, stronger signal consistency in tricky areas, reduced standby drain, so you don't wake up to a dead phone. Smarter power management, especially when switching between Wi-Fi and 5G. These are not flashy upgrades you see on a spec sheet. These are upgrades you feel every single day. Now, let's talk about the iPhone 17e camera, because Apple is making some interesting choices here too. On the back, the rear camera system is built around a 48-megapixel main sensor. 48 megapixels is plenty for most users. More detail. For daytime shots, better flexibility for cropping, improved computational photography for night mode, and smart HDR, you're not getting a triple or quad camera like the Pro Max. But for the price point, a solid 48 megapixel main sensor is more than enough for social media, travel photos, and everyday use. But the real surprise isn't on the back. It's on the front. Leaks suggest the iPhone 17e selfie camera is being seriously upgraded, getting the same 18-megapixel center-stage front camera used in the more expensive models. That means sharper FaceTime calls with better detail cleaner, more flattering TikTok and Reels content, better framing in landscape vlogs, especially. For creators, smoother, more stable zoom and video meetings, stronger low-light video performance for night shots and indoor recording. For content creators, students, and anyone who lives on FaceTime or social apps, this might actually be one of the most important upgrades in the entire 17e lineup. Now step back for a moment and look at the whole package. A19 flagship chip dynamic island instead of an old notch full 25W MagSafe support Apple's in-house C1X modem for better 5G and battery life 48 megapixel rear camera 18 megapixel center stage selfie camera from the premium lineup all at a rumored price of $599 eyes $599 truly budget? Not really. But in Apple's world, this is the least you have to pay to get most of the flagship experience and enter the Apple ecosystem without crossing that $900 to $1,000 line. So if you're wondering, should I wait for the iPhone 17e? You might actually be asking the wrong question. The real question is, why would you spend hundreds more right now on a phone with similar performance, when the iPhone 17e is about to launch with the same A19 chip and most of the modern features you actually care about? If these reports are accurate when we get to Apple's March 4th, 2026 event, the iPhone 17e doesn't just compete with the iPhone 17, it undercuts it. You'll have a phone with the same core performance, the same modern dynamic island design language, the same ecosystem perks like MagSafe, a seriously capable camera setup, for a lot less money. So let me throw this back to you. If the performance gap between the iPhone 17e and the iPhone 17 Pro almost disappears, would you still pay Pro prices? Is the extra telephoto lens or slightly better screen really worth hundreds more if the day-to-day experience is nearly identical? Tell me in the comments, are you planning to wait for the iPhone 17e, or are you still leaning towards the iPhone 17 or 17 Pro? And if you want to see the latest leak about the iPhone flip and what Apple might be doing with its first foldable iPhone, make sure you watch the next video. Just click on the screen. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.